Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the treatment or voice therapy technique video for muscle tension dysphonia or MTD. As in my previous video, we understood what are the different types, what exactly are the causes, symptoms, and what exactly is MTD. So we are in a good position to now understand the treatment or the therapy part for muscle tension dysphonia. Unlike other voice disorders, this is one particular voice disorder where SLP or a voice specialist plays a major role in the management aspect. Because if you look at the symptomatology and even the causative factors, you will realize that the major causative factor is an unexplainable stress or tension in the vocal mechanism and in the respiratory mechanism as well. So there exists no such pathology, at least in cases of primary muscle tension dysphonia, that requires a surgical or a medical management. So primary muscle tension dysphonia is something where an SLP or a voice therapist has a major role in management aspect. So let us understand that what exactly can we do and how exactly can we bring about this treatment. So the treatment aspect is not just only about giving voice therapy techniques to these patients, because if you look at the causative factors, you will realize that there are multiple causative factors that are involved when we talk about primary muscle tension dysphonia. So you need to consider all these details that you have gathered in your detailed case history that you take as soon as the patient comes to you. So this patient whom you are assessing and you are taking up for therapy might be having a severe history of acid reflux, might be also having some sort of medical allergic illness, or he is prone to frequent URTI. These are the different things that you get to know in your case history, and then keeping those factors in mind, aiming them also while you are treating them, and then creating a comprehensive voice therapy management idea about this patient will help you to bring about a better prognosis of a particular client. So unlike any other disorder, this being a disorder where many factors, or as we say that multifactorial cause is indicated, you also need to consider those multi-factors while you are counseling, while you are prescribing different therapy techniques, and most importantly while you are deciding the prognosis of a patient. So if you feel that the patient is already having a history of reflux or having really high amount of acidity related complaints, you need to make appropriate referral to an otolaryngologist and then ask that patient to follow up with. Apart from reflux, also one needs to consider the emotional aspect of the patient. So if you feel that the patient whom you are assessing and going to give therapy has some emotional history wherein there is stress or anxiety which is present in an overall manner, then you need to make appropriate referrals. Because though our counseling sometimes aims at reducing the anxiety of the patient and making them relax, sometimes these are the patients who need professional help. So don't feel hesitant and give out your referral at appropriate time, because it would be helpful in deciding not just the voice aspect but the overall prognosis of the patient. Apart from that, if you feel that the patient needs some lifestyle modification, some amount of habits which are vocal abusive habits, misusive habits, then you need to address those as well. So these are the general tips that you need to keep in mind while you are doing therapy for muscle tension dysphonia. Now coming to the therapy part or the techniques aspect. What is the main problem here is the patient is speaking with a voice that has excessive tension. So the entire laryngeal mechanism and the respiratory mechanism is under excessive tension. So definitely these patients are really good candidates for relaxation exercises, which we have already described. Try to aim for abdominal breathing in these patients as well, because as you see, they are speaking with a lot of tension. They are mostly talking on their residual air in the lungs and they are not utilizing the entire lung capacity as well. So it would be really good if we try and assess the breathing aspect in the first assessment session and then aim to develop diaphragmatic breathing or abdominal breathing to ensure that the patient is having sufficient amount of respiratory capacity to fulfill the phonation. So one is relaxation, two is the breathing exercise, third exercise, which is an exercise given by Stemple, that's the vocal function exercise. Vocal function exercises are mainly aimed at producing a smooth and steady phonation without any tension. So these are the exercises which the patient needs to do 2 times each exercise. For every exercise needs to be done twice a day, and when the person is sitting one time, he has to repeat all those two times. So that's how the prescription of the exercise goes. So it's a very structured form that is given by Stemple. You can download the PDF from ASHA website. They have very easily outlined the steps also. So the first demonstration of the exercise is of the vocal function exercise. So step number 1 of vocal function exercise is So before we begin the vocal function exercise demonstration, you need to understand the concept of the frequency and the pitch that is used in this particular exercise, because they play a very important role. So you need to know the concept of the C pitch and the F pitch that is played. If you are a musician or a singer, you will be able to appreciate it better, that the frequency that you are aiming, or the pitch that you are aiming for the patient to produce, in cases of female it has to be above the middle C, and in cases of males it has to be below the middle C of the pitch range. So middle C is usually around 262 hertz, but in cases of different musical instruments, you will see that the frequency is approximately up or down, plus or minus somewhere here, but this is what the frequency that you are aiming. So above this is what you are aiming for a female, and below this is what you are aiming for a male. So this is first thing. So you can download any of the piano playing app or pitch play app, and you can identify first that this is the pitch that we want you to produce, and introduce it to the patient, and then start the step number 1. Identified that frequency, now you need to sustain vowel E with a forward focus for as long as possible in that particular pitch. This is step number 1, called as warm up. So you need to tell the patient to produce E with the forward focus and sustain it as long as possible, and try to repeat it 5 times in the first go. So this is how you would produce it. Also, you can sometimes try to produce me extending the E part. So if just not E, then me is also one of the stimuli that you can use, only because M sound gives an extra resonance in the oral cavity, that also in turn helps in producing smooth and steady phonation. So it goes something like me. Make sure that you are producing it from the anterior part of the oral cavity and not from the posterior part, because it's very important to have a forward focus, a relaxed phonation, and sustaining it in that particular pitch. So something like this. Again, I'll just demonstrate it once again. This is step number 1. Once the patient has identified and is able to produce this pitch and is able to sustain, warm-up phase is completed. Step number 2 and step number 3 are the glides that you produce from low to high and from high to low. But this time it's not just with humming or not just with vocalization, but it's with using of different words. So you're going up the scale using a word, and then going down the scale using another word. So this is how you do it. Okay, so step number 2 and step number 3 are called as stretching and contracting respectively. Here you are going to go from low to high in step number 2, which is called as stretching, using a word like whoop, or you can use the word like null, or many more words you can use, but for the demonstration purpose I'm going to use the word whoop. So you're going to go from low pitch to high pitch, and make sure that there are no voice breaks, there are no pitch breaks, and there's a steady continuous flow from low to high. So something like whoop. I'll show it once again. Try to sustain it as high in your note also, because since we are not singers or professional voice users, we also need to practice it so that we can appreciate the difference between the lowest note, the middle note, and the highest note, and then make the patient also appreciate it. The next step is of the contracting, wherein you go from high to low. So to demonstrate that, I am using the word like boom. So you go from high like boom. Make sure that there is no tension here, and the lip rounding and everything is really relaxed, and there is this continuous flow from high to low. Something again I will demonstrate it. Boom. So this is step number 2 and 3 respectively. Try to repeat each of these steps 5 times while you are trying to establish it for the first time, and then move on to the final step of the vocal function exercise, and that involves sustaining the pitch at multiple different notes. So when we talk of the musical notes, you initially understood what is the middle C, that's around 262 hertz. Now you need to make the patient appreciate that there are different notes, and then make him sustain at a particular note. So right from C to D, E, F, G, all of these are the notes which you can find easily in any of the pitch play app or in the piano app. First, perceptually you listen to them, you appreciate the difference on between all of them, and then make him sustain a me sound or a e sound or a oo sound at each of these frequencies as long as possible. Once the patient is able to produce all of these pitches at different notes and is able to sustain for your prescribed duration, so you can judge depending on the patient to patient and write a prescribed duration that will be able to sustain for 10 seconds or 5 seconds or 8 seconds or whatever. Once he or she is able to accomplish that, then you can say that the patient is able to produce a relaxed phonation on a range of pitch and the range of frequencies without having any muscle tension involved. To appreciate it better, download an app right now. I can show you a screenshot or I can give the link of the app in the caption below, and then you can appreciate the differences between all of these apps. I cannot describe the entire app to you right now, but yes, you can definitely check it out, and before doing it on the patient, you do it yourself first and get a hang of it, then it will be easier. This is the first technique for muscle tension dysphonia. The next technique for muscle tension dysphonia is about stretch and flow phonation. So I'm going to upload a video soon on stretch and flow phonation. But if you have found this helpful, useful, learned something new from this, I'll be more than happy to listen from you. So do write in the comment section if you have any comments. And yes, keep learning and yes, keep spreading knowledge. Bye.